Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm back in here continuing the series of how to deal with aggressive players. I just did a more simpler approach with a Victor that was pretty easy to read, but we're gonna go ahead and dive into a little bit more of a complicated one. I know for a fact that I struggled with this one, but I did come out winning this set, thankfully. But this was tough. This was really tough. So if you haven't seen a little bit more of a simpler one for Tekken 8, go ahead and watch my Victor one. But we're gonna go ahead and just go straight into the Jin replay here because I feel like I took a lot of time for the other video.
Get ready for the next battle.
So from what I do remember, this Jin player, he knew his sidesteps, he knew his execution, he knew his combos, he knew his setups. You know, very dangerous player, very dangerous. And especially at these ranks, you're gonna catch these Jins. You're gonna catch these Jins, so you have to be prepared and know what you gotta do. So, immediately what starts to happen. Oh, looks like I can't rewind. There it goes. Okay. Immediately it goes for the down two. Down two is crazy in this game. I'm not surprised if it's gonna be nerfed soon. We'll see. The down two is crazy. Go ahead for the while standing punish here. Quick while standing punish. I'm +5 and I want to run in for a mix-up or a mid or throw mix-up, right? So immediately, because of this kind of playstyle, within just 1 second of this match, I have to completely up my game. So I go in for my mix-up here, 2-1 punish, and 2-1 interrupt is really good. Again, 2-1 is great, leaves him +6, and he has a 4 extension on top of that. Goes in for the throw, using his frames appropriately. So I'm like, yeesh, ouch, right? He's -7 after that kick. So once you block that kick, his forward, start becoming aggressive, right? But what does he start doing? Side steps. So now I'm dashing on purpose to go ahead and kind of be like, okay, let's see how he reacts, right? And sure enough, he reacts again appropriately. Sidestepping something that could be really dangerous in my situation. So that's why sometimes dashing in and kind of just realigning with your opponent is a good tactic. I get caught with a hook. Knows his combos. Heat engager. Doesn't break the wall. Hell sweep, great Oki. Yeah. I got messed up that first round. I press. He gets a combo. Wave dash mix up. Then we start getting the interrupt, right? So here's where we start applying some fundamentals to see how he starts like reacting. This is neutral when you block this kick, so basically it's nobody's turn. So feel free to do what you want to do, you just got to be careful, you got to have a read on your opponent. We interrupt because we know that his aggressive playstyle tends to come after certain strings, right? So when he knows he's not obviously minus, he might be going in for something else. But again, we only got 1 round of data downloaded on him, and we don't even know if it's a complete download. So let's see what happens. But I go in for the interrupt, and it does work. So that tells me that he likes to throw strings, right? And Jin has a lot of strings that he could play. He could literally just play with strings. You don't got to do combos. Okay, some life came back. So you see, immediately comes from 4-4-2. 4-4-2 again from Jin reaches like from across the screen, it feels like. Look at that range. Almost got me. What is that? Range what? Almost 3. I was almost 3. But luckily it was just enough. And you have to have 4-2-1. If you're a King player, you have to have 4-2-1 on deck. That's got to be like, you got to have your finger on the trigger with that move, because look what happens. Gets me right to the wall. He doesn't duck, and I go in for a throw mix-up because I'm like, I have to be aggressive. I do not want to let this Jin get momentum. And that's the thing, good Jin players, when they have momentum, it's like a whirlpool. You just get sucked in, and you can't escape once the momentum is good until the next round. Like, and that's how some Jin players be. Heavy damage. You gotta have your brakes on check. If you're defending against King, gotta have your brakes on check. So in this case, we have to acknowledge when we are at this point of the round, because we have this huge life lead here, this is not necessarily... Don't be celebrating just yet. He has that much recoverable health, but in this case, he's already in heat, so we don't have to worry about that life lead coming back. He has rage, he has a combo extender. Dangerous tools that can completely even up the match, and even though he doesn't have a way to regain the health on a heat engager per se, he can still gain a lot of that back in a combo, and it's gonna even out the match completely. And then all he has to do is hell sweep, forward 4-3, and game. We're patient. We want him to use his most powerful tools on purpose so we can kind of even out the playing field and put him in a bad situation again. See what I'm saying? He went for the forward 4-3. He wants that combo starter. Electrics, do not press after an electric, guys. Do not press after an electric. He is +5 and he's using flowcharts. So I went ahead and I ducked under because I wanted to make sure to interrupt him, right? When I think about it now, it's kind of a really stupid choice on my part. I should have not pressed after that. If he went for a forward 4, I would have been done. And he still has rage. So I don't know why I did that. So lesson learned. Let's not do that again. It kind of works out in my favor. But look, he's +4. So even then, such a stupid move on my part. That's okay. That's why we watch these videos. So he's +4. Takes his frames appropriately. I mix up the alley kicks. And again, that tells me a little bit more again. So even after just the first hit, normally a lot of King players don't continue the alley kicks, but I wanted to kind of see what happens if I extended it again. Maybe I can go ahead and interrupt them, and sure enough, it did interrupt them. I'm -9 on that hit, so that's it. I'm done. I'm not taking any more turns after that. Does it again. And that's a nice little flow chart after a down forward 1. So we get the round, right? See what happens. Now we start revealing a little bit more cards up on our sleeve, right? So now I'm doing for neutral 2. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Jin can punish that anymore. I know it used to be -14, but I think it's -13 now. +7. I go ahead and extend my down forward 1 string on purpose. Now I'm +5. I continue attacking, and that's what it is. So you have to kind of create your own whirlwind against good Jin players. So now we go ahead, we keep pushing that momentum. Now forward 4 neutral 2 is super linear, and then again we're dealing with Jin's down 2. You see what happens here? We start going ahead and revealing more stuff from King. Right now we're gonna start doing some more throw mix-ups now, right? So after he's -9, he understands when he was patient, he's a really good player, and some good players are patient. So again, he has frame knowledge, so we're gonna go ahead and mix up our timing here. I dash up on his face on purpose, and then I kind of trick him. So sometimes when you, as a King player, you can kind of dash into people's faces to kind of trick them to thinking you're gonna do a Shining Wizard. So Shining Wizard, though, is a little bit more reactable on break rather than Giant Swing. So I go for the Giant Swing, doesn't break it. And that's what I'm talking about. You have to go ahead and build that momentum. And then as a King player, your momentum comes from grabs. King doesn't have good lows. He does not have good lows. So that's why his low damage and some mid checks come from his throws instead. But even then, he has to take huge risks. I take my 2-1, but I don't continue attacking. He doesn't attack either. I back away on purpose, and it actually kind of resets the neutral game on purpose now. He's trying to make me scared of that down 2, but I'm like, I'm not. I'll rather eat down 2s than Jin's. Gotta punish that. So let's see what the frame is on that, because it's a little bit weird to punish. -16, so yeah, please launch punish that. I just wasn't too sure because the animation of him coming down is a little bit weird. Got him. So again, like I said in the last video, you have to kind of acknowledge the fact that when players are enraged, that's a really dangerous tool to have up in your arsenal, because you can bypass a lot of big openers and a lot of big plus frame moves, and that's it, the round's over. So at this point now, we're using jab pressure, and against these players, we have to use jab pressure to build momentum, because even in the most simplest move, looking here, you're +7, and that's relatively safe. Even if your opponent sidesteps a jab, you can still block whatever big opener they're gonna try to put after a sidestep, right? We go for a safe high move, nothing happens after that. Nice. So what happens here, we'll see, starts to happen. We'll go ahead and look at that sequence again. He's throwing, it's not necessarily low spam, right? I just call that the no mix-up. Nothing wrong with that at all. So he's gonna try to see if I'm gonna be afraid of another low. He throws out a high to kind of stop a sidestep, because it looks like I could sidestep that move maybe. I haven't really practiced that, but that's okay. With that being said, he looks like he tries to catch a sidestep, but I go ahead and I block that. Understand that sometimes you're not meant to attack right after. When you're under pressure, just back away and just block. Because what's gonna happen is 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give up their turn, or you're gonna create an opportunity for yourself to retaliate back. So I go in for a mid check, double mid check, so I'm like, if you want to do it, I can do it too. And then he panics. So once we get the panic, we gotta read, guys. We gotta download. He likes to do a lot of jab pressure panic, and then down 2 panic. Rolls away. I didn't launch punish that, but that's okay. That would have been game right there. So remember, he has rage, he has heat enabled, he can go in for a forward 2. That's all he needs to get his momentum back. All he needs. So we are being very, very patient. We're being very selective. Very, very selective. So that's it, right? We go ahead, block. Just block. There's no reason for you to be aggressive right now. We have 46 seconds on the clock. I have about 80% health. Why rush? Why rush and put myself in a bad situation? There's no reason to. That would have been game if I used my back one too, but for some reason I didn't. Catches me. Sidestep it, but not the best punish. Good hell sweep. Good down 2. Good pressure. We're just blocking. We are just blocking, and if you eat some lows, that's okay. And he tries to back away, but the down 3 catches him, and that's kind of a great way to kind of shut down a lot of opponents, is really acknowledging when you have momentum. And it's hard, because it's like, how do you know when you have momentum if you don't have knowledge of said character, or even your own character? And that's why it's important to go back to your videos, and especially with Tekken 8 system now, their training system is a lot more in depth, and it'll tell you when to duck, when you could do certain moves. It's really useful. So there's a lot more tools in this game than what there was in Tekken 7. But with that being said, I hope that was helpful. And again, this is just basic fundamentals and basic knowledge checks. We didn't really go in depth into frames or techniques, frame traps, nothing like that. We're just using pure fundamentals, and sometimes that's all you need to get through some crazy rounds. And in this case, with such an aggressive and calculated Jin like that, and shout out to this player too. This is a great set. This was an amazing set. So I don't know if I sent this dude a friend request actually, so I'll go ahead. I'm gonna do that on my video. But yeah, but with that being said, fundamentals are going to be very important. This dude's a Tekken king now. Oh, I should have not. I'm gonna have to. Should have not done that. I might have to. I might have to cut that out. But anyways, with that being said, I hope this was helpful, and we will do some more in the future. Because I got a Harong that we won against as well, and that actually helped a lot. So, but alright, take care. I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully I should stream again soon, and we should be taking our king to Fujin very soon. Other than that, peace.